So far, we've covered some basic ideas of HTML and CSS, and that should give us enough groundwork to be able to start to make an actual website, something that takes these ideas and puts them to a purpose. So let's close out of our tutorials folder, and we'll have another folder here that's going to represent our website or our project. If you don't have one, go ahead and create a new folder. I'm going to rename this. So we need to pick a topic for our website. What's the thing you want to make? I'm going to do a coffee shop as an example. You can choose something else. I'm going to call my coffee shop Uptown Coffee. Click return. Again, choose whatever you are interested in creating with your website. And we can start by making a homepage HTML and CSS file. So homepage.html and homepage.css. Now, it can often be tempting to just dive in and start coding. And that's fine with small things, but we're at the point where we're making an actual website. And it can be hard to keep track of the ideas you want to implement while coding at the same time. So it's good to pause here and think about what we want our website to look like. What's the structure? And if possible, see if you can diagram that. I've done a quick kind of markup of what I want my homepage to look like. I made this markup in a software called Draw.io. I'll put it in a link in the description. It's a free software. You can use it on the web. You can also download an app as well. I like it because it has all these different like square options, and you can put text in it, and it's also free. So you can make something similar to this using that app if you want, or whatever software you have. So let's kind of go through the different structure we see here. So at the top, we have a kind of menu. You see the name of whatever our website or the thing, the product we're trying to advertise. And over here on the right, we have different links that the user can click on. Maybe an about, a menu. You could change these to what you're interested in. Maybe you don't want a menu. Maybe you have like items you're selling or artwork or something. So these can be flexible in what you are interested in. We'll build that out a little bit later, but for now I'm just noting that we're going to have that. After that, we kind of have our first section here. We have our shop name, whatever that may be, a paragraph describing that shop, and an image of that shop as well. Okay, so we have that as our first section. Next up, we have this kind of grouped section here. I'm going to call this its own section, this yellow kind of background. And within this, we have two subsections, the location information and the hours. Again, you can choose whatever you'd like. You could do different topics, but we'll keep this kind of general structure. We can see in these, we have descriptions, an image, and for the hours, we have a small description plus some bullet points. So it's going to take us some time to get to this, to fully realize this idea. But it helps to diagram this so we can kind of start a skeleton, a structure for how we want our website to look, and then we'll fill in the details as we go. Okay, with that in mind, let's see if we can start. I'm going to go to the HTML page. We have this template. I'm going to go and quickly borrow this information with Control A, Control C, and Control V to paste in here. I can close this down, get rid of the template, and save this. We made our homepage.css. Let's link that right away. Okay, and now we're good to go. So for this first video, I think I'm just going to start with the HTML structure. We're not going to try and build the whole website here in one go. We're just going to see if we can get this general structure and then start to fill in the pieces. So again, we kind of have 3 or 4 sections. The menu, this introduction section, and then these 2 sections down here, the location hours, that are contained within this box. I'm not going to worry about this box just yet, so I'm going to do 4 sections. The menu, the intro, the location, and the hours. So let's see if we can start that. Each of these sections is its own specific thing. They are different ideas. So I'm going to mark them off using div tags. I'll do div, click tab, and my first section is going to be the menu. For now, I'm just going to type the word menu. We don't actually have that showing up in our part here, but it'll just indicate it on the web page itself. I'm also going to give it ID. So I'm going to do ID equals menu. That way we can reference it later on. I'm going to do this again 3 more times with the intro, the locations, and the hours. Again, a shortcut you can use for this. Say we want to do our intro section as an ID. To do this, you can write div. In CSS, to identify an ID, we use hashtag. So if you do hashtag intro as an introduction and click tab, now we will see, oh, it makes this ID right away and it populates it. So we're going to have an intro section, and then we are going to have a locations and an hour section. Same thing. I'm going to use our shortcut here, div hashtag locations, click tab, and then one more, div hashtag hours. Okay. So those are kind of the 4 sections here. One thing I'm going to have us note is that in my markup here, the locations and the hours, the background color is the same. So I might apply some CSS to these that might be the same for both of them, maybe the same color. When we have CSS that applies to the same thing more than once, we can use a class. Again, IDs are for unique things, classes are for multiple things. So what should I call these classes? I don't know what a good name might be. I might call it like info class. Maybe not super descriptive, but the location, hours, or information about our website. So let's do that. I'm going to copy it and paste it in here. Again, make sure you have this space here. It gets a little funky if you don't have that space, like that. Okay. So now we have the sections set up. Let's put some content in them. So for my first section, I have a header, a paragraph, and an image. Let's start. So menu we're going to ignore for now, and let's go in the intro. So we have a few things. We have the header. I'll call it Uptown Coffee. Again, you can call yours whatever you'd like. I'll do a paragraph, short description. I'll fill this in later on. And then let's do an image. Let's go ahead and actually put an image in here. We can start to kind of formulate how we should design this right now. We're going to have a bunch of images for a website. So let's put them in an image folder. I'm going to right click on Uptown here, do new folder, and just call this images. Saving this for now. So I'd go ahead, just get an image. I'm going to pause real quick and save an image in here. So I've downloaded an image that I'm going to put in this image folder. To do this yourself, you can right click on this, reveal in File Explorer. Show it up over here. So here's my images folder. I'm going to click this. I have a downloads folder over here where I download a coffee picture, just dragging it in here. Okay, so we should have that image. Let's see. All right, there's my coffee picture. And let's access that. Right now we are in the Uptown Coffee folder. That's where the homepage.html is. We need to hop in the images folder. So let's start typing images and then coffee1 whatever this extension is. Okay, so that sets up our first section. We have the header, the paragraph, and the image. Now let's see what we have next. Now we have the location. Same thing basically, a header, a paragraph, and an image. Let's do it again. Since this is a subsection, I'm going to use a smaller header, maybe like an H3. I'll call this location. Give it a paragraph, small description. Let's do another image. Go ahead and find an image you like. So for mine, I'm going to do a location. So I'll put a location image in this section. So I went ahead and downloaded another image. This one's called Coffee Shop. Let's put that in there. Again, I gotta reference the images folder, and then coffeeshop.jpg will show up in it. Okay. So that is our locations. We got one more section here. It's the hours. And the hours is a header, a paragraph, and then our bullet lists, which we know are unordered lists. So in our sections here, the hours, let's make a header. I'm going to mimic this style here with this H3. It's called hours. The paragraph, these are our hours. And then to do an unordered list, we use a UL and the LI tags. So UL and then LI. I might just do these right now since we're here. Monday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Copy, paste. Tuesday, say 8 a.m. And you can do this however much you want. I'll just do a third one just to get some information on there. Okay. Now let's save it and kind of reflect on what we've done so far. So we've accomplished the HTML kind of skeleton. We have our menu. We haven't talked about that quite yet, but we have the section here for the intro, the location, and the hours. And we kind of have them nicely laid out into different divs with IDs. We have the intro, location, and hours. You can close these down if you want. You'll notice here on the left-hand side, we have these little arrows. So if you close them down, it kind of makes our page more concise. So if we want to edit the locations tab, we can open it up by clicking this over here. So kind of a nice way to organize our page with these different IDs and divs. Let's make sure everything's working here. Let's go ahead and save it. If you haven't, make sure that dot's gone. Let's reveal in File Explorer. And let's open it up. Okay. So definitely not looking like what we want so far. Obviously, there's a whole lot of work to do. But for now, we have the kind of structure. In the next videos, we'll start to talk about how to use CSS and kind of hone these things down a little bit to make it look a little nicer.